Who got it?
Back. Yeah, dude, that's the DM shot.
What'd you like it?
Yeah.
How much?
Oh! Pick it! You gotta give him the answer! Whoa! Pick! Oh! Go!
The 2002 season opens for the St. Thomas Academy football team on a warm, humid, late August night against #1 ranked Hutchinson. After the St. Thomas Academy offense fails to move the ball, the Hutchinson offensive team shows the explosiveness it will demonstrate all year when they break off right end and go the distance for the first score. The offense fumbles the ball back to a swarming Hutch defense, but the Cadets' defense holds Hutch deep in St. Thomas territory. The offense continues to be stymied by Hutch, and the defense gives up a second touchdown, giving Hutch a 16-0 lead. Finally, the offense begins to stir through the air and on the ground. Early in the second quarter, the Cadets are deep in enemy territory with a chance to cut the lead to a touchdown. The offense stalls, and Hutch takes over. On the first play, Hutch explodes through the St. Thomas Academy defense and puts St. Thomas in a deep hole. As the half ends, the offense shows some hope for a resurgence in the second half. The Cadets come out of the locker room and begin to move the ball against the Tigers, but the drive ends with a fumble. The defense fights gallantly to hold the potent Tigers in check. As the game winds down, the Cadets suffer an opening defeat to one of the best teams in the state. Game 3 finds us on the road and entering the hostile confines of Polar Field. The offense begins the game with a promising drive, which ends with a Polar pick. For the second week in a row, the hustle and aggression of the defense prevents an early score. The game becomes a physical battle at the line of scrimmage in which the Polars are more than willing to participate. North St. Paul draws first blood. And after being given another opportunity, the scrum scratches for a score. After a couple of first downs, the Cadet attack bogs again. Late in the first half, mighty Joe Young attempts to inspire the offense with an interception. A near miss for a touchdown. Then a fumble leads to a missed opportunity at the end of the half. After a cordial halftime discussion, St. Thomas comes out in the second half determined to join in on the physical nature of this game. The Polar lead is cut to 6 with a St. Thomas touchdown midway through the third quarter. The battle at the line of scrimmage continues to be won by our defense. But another opportunity is misplayed with a fumble on a North St. Paul punt. Heading into the final quarter, the defense gives the offense another chance. But the Polar defense once again steals it away. North St. Paul eventually scores the sealing touchdown on an exhausted defense. Determined to raise their record to 500, the Cadets entertain an improved Spartan team from Simley. Hernandez steps up to put the Cadets up early with an athletic interception, which he returns for a touchdown. Simley attempts the ground attack, but the defense steals the show. And the ball again. After a promising start on offense, Simley practices its own style of thievery and rips the ball away from the Cadets. A hard-hitting and physical battle begins to unfold as the game moves into the second quarter. Hungry for another score, John Hernandez takes the matters into his hands. Justin Regal finally gets his name in the paper by falling on the ball for a touchdown. The dominant defensive front line stops the Spartans. As Berg goes rolling through the defense, the coaches are just happy that ref didn't call holding. As Brad Feldman leads the offense to a score and a blowout lead at the end of the half. Boom! Eric Rutzik and a hustling Eric Dandurand pin the Spartans deep. Giving the offense one more chance, which comes up inches short heading into halftime. The second half begins with the offensive line surging and the Spartans' defense reeling. The drive slips through the Cadets' fingers, and the defense takes over. Both offense and defense continue to dominate the line of scrimmage as the game enters the fourth quarter. St. Thomas improves to 2-1 in the conference as they defeat a physically dominated Spartans team and sent the sputtering Spartans home. The fifth game of the year found the Cadets traveling north to take on the number 2 ranked Mahtomedi Zephyrs. The Zephyrs' offense is one of the most explosive in the state, but our defense is up to the challenge. The offense tries to dent what many believe is the best defense in any class, but find the swarming and punishing Zephyrs too much to sustain any kind of drive. The first half is a game of domination by both defenses as the offenses absorb hit after hit. Late in the second quarter, the Cadets get a huge break when Mahtomedi's punter gets off a negative punt and puts the offense in great field position. Unfortunately, the Zephyrs' defense slammed the door. As the half winds down, the Cadets continue to clamp down on the potent Zephyr attack. The third quarter begins with the St. Thomas offense still smashing into the black and gold wall of Mahtomedi defenders. The Cadet defense keeps the stalemate alive as the Cadets stifle the Mahtomedi offense again and again. Late in the third quarter, a fumble by the Cadets seems to give new life to Mahtomedi. But great plays by Tom Burkhart and John Hernandez take the wind out of the Zephyrs once again. With the offense unable to dent Mahtomedi's defense, the Zephyrs finally break the stalemate. As the end of the game draws near, St. Thomas continues to battle both offensively and defensively, but are too weary to mount a comeback and fall to the Zephyrs. Facing the Spartans of Richfield in the sixth game, the Cadets are not only anxious to win their homecoming, but also want to erase the memory of the previous year's defeat at the hands of the Spartans. As if the clock had turned back, Richfield moved the ball sharply on the Cadets' defense. Snapping back to the present, the defense staves the opening drive deep in Cadets' territory. The Cadets' opening drive begins with a bang, but ends with a whimper. After another stop, the defense is called back on the field after a botched punt return attempt turns the ball over to the Spartans. Again, the Cadets answer the call. The offense answers with a big play and then turns the ball back again.
Now he's getting a tattoo, yeah, he's getting ink done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. Friends say he's trying too hard, and he's not quite hip. But in his own mind, he's the dopest trap.
Early in the second quarter, Berg breaks away to the 1 yard line. But the play is called for holding, and the drive fails. After another great series by the defense, the circus continues as Richfield gets another gift. As it will prove all night, the defense is giving no ground. As the half winds down, the offense begins to find success on the ground. Time runs out on the half on a last-second pass. The second half begins with a surging offensive line, but once again, the offense cannot sustain momentum. Desperate to fool the Cadets, the Spartans' trick play can't fool Costello, especially when he knows it's homecoming and on our own field.
Now he's getting a tattoo, yeah, he's getting ink done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. Friends say he's trying too hard.
As the game moves towards the final period, it is obvious that this is a game in which both defenses are determined to dominate. The offense finally begins to move the ball against the Spartans, but miscues and fumbles and promising drives. Richfield can go nowhere against the blue wall.
Now he's getting a tattoo, yeah, he's getting ink done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. Friends say he's trying too hard, and he's not quite hip. But
As time is running out, Kyle Berg takes the handoff, and he is gone. 65-yard game-winning scamper by the sensational sophomore, Kyle Berg. With 20 seconds left, Dave Krieger seals the incredible victory with an interception. On a muddy field and a cold night, the cadets meet their arch rivals, the Warriors of Sibley High School. St. Thomas, still fired up from its dramatic homecoming victory, charges out of the gate and over the surprised Warrior defense. Craig Gorman finishes off an impressive opening drive with a scamper over right end for a touchdown. After the defense shuts down the Warriors' offense, St. Thomas is forced to punt, and a very high snap gives the ball, and eventually a touchdown, to Sibley. Showing confidence and fortitude, the offense mixes the pass and the run and puts the cadets ahead once again. After a big kickoff return, the defense shows its own brand of confidence by shutting down the Warrior threat. The cadet offense, showing new versatility and desire, moved the ball once again down the field. Rutzik's foot boots a field goal and adds to the cadets' lead. It is the Warriors' offense turn now as they use the pass and the run to close the gap again. As the half runs out, the cadets let a golden opportunity slip through their fingers. Clinging to a three-point lead and with field conditions deteriorating, the two teams fight each other back and forth during the third and into the fourth quarter. Interceptions and fumble recoveries keep giving the ball back to the Cadets, but the Warriors' defense rises to the occasion, and the Cadet offense finds the field and the going tough. The defense, led by co-captains Chris Moore and Dan Ryan, along with Dan Sullivan and a bevy of other big bodies, keep the pressure on. A bad snap and a great defense gives the offense the ball with a chance to put the game away. But the Warriors, desperately clinging to hope, turn back the Cadets. Sibley now begins a determined 90-yard march, converting on a fourth down play at midfield. The Warriors threaten to snatch the game from the Cadets. As time runs out, the defense forces Sibley into a tying field goal, which sends the game into overtime. On the play of overtime, Feldman connects with sophomore Kyle Berg for what will be back-to-back game-winning TDs by Berg. Now it's up to the defense. Starting at the 10, the Sibley offense is driven back 5 yards until the last desperate pass falls incomplete and the Cadets win another dramatic victory. To close out the regular season, the Cadets face the Pioneers of Hill Murray for the first time in over 15 years. The Pioneers' wide-open offense fails to rattle the defense. The St. Thomas offense comes out hitting on all cylinders, and Pattison puts the Pioneers in an early pickle. Just as Hill Murray seems to have figured out the Cadets' defense, a swarming defensive line forces a fumble recovered by the derailer. The offense, using an assortment of weapons, punches across for their second score and a 2-touchdown lead. A reeling Hill Murray quarterback is forced into a mistake, which John Haler capitalizes on yet again. After a stalled offensive drive, Dave Krieger jumpstarts the offense with a timely interception. A mugging of Eric Danduran moves the ball into the red zone. Two plays later, Pattison punches it past the Pioneers for his third TD of the half. Hill Murray finds some success on the ground and with their tight end. But Chris says no more to that. 2 plays later, Moore's batted ball falls into the opportunistic arms of Haler, who continues to derail the Pioneer offense. Dan Duran gets the Cadets off to a flying start in the second half. John Hernandez assumes control from there and powers the offense into pay dirt. Later in the third quarter, the Jailbreak offense busts loose on the befuddled Pioneer defense, eating up clock but failing to score. With a 4-touchdown lead in the final period, the defense bends but does not break. The Cadets head into the playoffs with a 5-3 regular season record. The tone of what will become an unpredictable playoff game begins with an opening kickoff turnover in Cadets territory. The defense comes out and aggressively causes a turnover of their own. Inspired by the aggression of the defense, the offense batters and bullies the Packer defense with Hernandez, finishing off the grinding attack. The defense smothers the Packers once again, only to have to return after a fumbled punt. South St. Paul quickly takes advantage. An upset-minded Packers defense forces a fumble, which puts the Packers on top. Determined to regain control of the game, the offense begins a lengthy drive, which results in a renewed confidence and a game-tying touchdown. South St. Paul attempts to mount their own confidence-building drive, but the defense couldn't care less about the Packers' self-esteem. Attempting to get the lead late in the half, the offense is attacking, but the turnover theme plays another sad song. The stingy defense pins the Packers deep. And Dan Ryan blocks the punt out of the end zone for a safety and the lead. An interception stops another Cadets drive late in the half. The second half begins with the Packers finding no room to roam against the defense. After getting the cobwebs cleared, Berg takes the whole South St. Paul defense for a ride. Hernandez finishes off the opening second half drive behind a dominant offensive line and gives the Cadets a 9-point lead. South St. Paul refuses to give up and responds with a touchdown drive to close the gap to 2. Fighting to keep their precarious lead and chew clock, the Cadets move the ball methodically down the field. A questionable holding call slows the drive. And 2 plays later, a questionable non-call ends the drive. Gives South St. Paul one more chance. Battling to extend their season, the Packers claw their way down the field. With the season on the line, the defense behind the hustle of Chris Moore delivers the knockout blow on a 4th and 1 play deep in their own territory. The offense seals the victory and a spot in the section semifinal. A rematch with the Sibley Warriors begins with Sibley bent on vengeance for the earlier overtime loss to the Cadets. In the shadow of the goalposts, Pat Costello plucks a pass in the end zone to turn away the Warriors' early threat. A battle of offensive and defensive lines ensues until Sibley gets the early upper hand and scores. An unfortunate mistake gives Sibley a great opportunity . But the defense holds them to a field goal. The offense continues to misfire. While the Sibley offense, behind the play of their quarterback, keeps the defense on its heels and eventually puts the Warriors ahead 17-0. Hernandez responds over the left side to spring the Cadets back into the game. The half ends with the defense slowing down the Sibley offense. St. Thomas opens the second half unable to dent the Warriors' defense. And the Sibley offense dinks and dunks its way to a field goal and a 27 lead. The offense finally finds success through the air, but a turnover kills the drive. Steve Orm turns back Sibley with an end zone interception. After being forced to punt, Joe Hansen leaps on a Sibley miscue and gives St. Thomas new life. The Cadets keep the Warriors off balance through the air and on the ground until Feldman hits Gorman for a touchdown to close to within 6. An inspired St. Thomas Academy defense shuts down Sibley. Just missing a big play, the offense slowly moves the ball deep into Warrior territory. On a 4th and 3 play, the Cadets come up just short and turn the ball over. The defense desperately gets the ball back. And Pat Moore makes a dramatic catch to extend the Cadets' last chance. With time running out, a desperate pass is intercepted, and the season comes to a painful end.
Nice.
There we go.
Joe Young, cornerback. One of my funniest memories was during the pasta dinners when DR would get up to lead some prayer and you'd have no idea what he's doing, so you'd ask for intentions, which would lead into the Our Father, which just shows how much of a spiritual leader Dan was on and off the field. Thank you.
All right, Brad Feldman, number 3, played quarterback. Some of my best memories of the season were beating Sibley in overtime and getting in fights with Warner over bottles of water.
Mike Sharon, number 6, wide receiver. I'd say my favorite memory is beating Sibley in overtime and watching Brad and John Warner fight in the locker room.
My name is Sam Diedrich. I was number 7. I was a defensive back. Some of my favorite memories were from before the game. Mr. Rome would try to recreate his glory days and throw us touchdown passes and warm-ups, and yeah, too bad he couldn't do that while he was actually playing, but he did pretty good when we were in warm-ups.
All right, my name is Brandon Miller, number 9. I played linebacker and a little special teams here and there. I guess one of the funnier moments of this year was in the locker room when Schaefer was screaming at the top of his lungs, and the swimming coach had to come in and tell him to shut up because there's actually a match going on in the pool.
I'm Mike Schaefer. I was number 12, and I played tight end. My most memorable moments were when I missed my only compliment from Z-Barth, and last year when he asked me if I read the packet for the plays and I said no, and he just completely flipped out on me.
I'm Eric Danneran, number 14, wide receiver for St. Thomas, kick returner. One of my most memorable moments was the shots that me and Mr. Slater would give to each other. How he thought that my socks were like girl socks and he wore yellow wind pants. So that's my most memorable.
Andy Schwartz is number 15. I played strong safety and corner. My most memorable moment is when I got in the South St. Paul game, my hometown, and I did some damage in the 4th quarter.
This is for you, Mr. Slater. Francis Welsh, quarterback, wide out, punt return, number 16. I'd just like to say thanks to all the seniors, especially Sharon and Danneran, especially during practice, just goofing around when we probably should have been really serious running our plays. When we weren't in there. All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Ryan. I was number 19 and number 63. I played tight end, guard, and defensive tackle. My favorite memory was giving my cousin a concussion.
I'm Quinn McNamara. My number is 20. I played halfback and wide receiver. My most memorable moment was my first time playing under the lights on Friday nights.
My name is John Pattison, number 21, fullback, and my favorite memory is when I broke my hand and I actually caught the football better than when I didn't.
Joe Hansen, number 22, cornerback. Most memorable moments got to be playing under the lights for the first time, running through the tunnel of guys, start of the game, and just all the practices. I love the game. That's it.
Eric Moen, number 27, defensive back. Most memorable moment when Salvato and Moore gave me a concussion.
Hey, my name's Pat. I was number 30 this year. I was a free safety. My most memorable moment was, hey Regal, where was the homecoming game this year?
At home.
Oh.
I'm Nick McAdams, is number 44. I played defensive end. My most memorable moment is against Sibley during our first game against them this year. I had the opportunity to fulfill my fantasies and intercept the ball and run in for a touchdown because I was one-on-one and I dropped the pass amazingly.
Yo guys, it's John Haler. They call me the Derailer because I'm an impaler. I'm number 47. Peace out, I'll see you in heaven.
Tom Burkhart, 48, outside backer. The highlight of the year has to be the three-quarter shutout against Montemedi, a top-ranked team in the state.
Justin Regal, number 49, middle linebacker. Favorite moment was against the overtime game against Sibley where we shut them down on the goal line.
My name's Chris Butts, number 59, 6'1", 180 pounds. I'm a crusher. It's what I do. My most memorable moment is all the workouts with Dan Aran this summer, and also when John Hernandez was flipped upside down in a play, and me and Dipper told him he got the first down.
Okay, my name's Mike Bader, number 70. I played offensive line, kind of, a little bit of defensive line, and professional sidelines. See, the memorable moment was the only game I played the last 2 years. Hutchinson, although we lost, but it was good. It's been a good time.
My name is Mike Bonet. I'm number 74. I was a defensive end. And probably my favorite part about the entire season was just getting to play, getting the chance. It was a lot of fun. Thanks anybody on the team, coaches. Thanks a lot.
John Werner, defensive tackle, number 75. My most memorable moment was beating Sibley in overtime and the incident with Feldman in the locker room.
My name is Trevor Tarso. I was number 77. I played center, guard, tackle, and long snapper. One of my most memorable moments was working with Coach Basil over the summer on my long snapping technique, as well as having Mike Morris come in and jam my finger with one of his long snaps. Butsy knows what I'm talking about. I'd like to just thank all the senior class and all the friends on the team. We had a great time, had a lot of fun this year, so thanks a lot, guys.
Hi, my name is J.D. Turnwall, number 89, defensive tackle. I just like to thank all the seniors and especially the coaches for my 2 years of football.
I'm Dan Sullivan, number 91. I played defensive line. My most memorable memory from the football season was the last 2 years. At the end of the season on our last game when we sat in the locker room and everyone had the chance to say what they wanted to say. I thought it was the best because everyone was given a chance to be real and said and was able to say stuff that they really wanted to say.
Hi, my name is Christopher C. Moore. My number is 98, and I play defensive end. My most memorable moment was playing in the Metrodome my sophomore year. It was a packed house, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fans in the cheering and playing on the AstroTurf, so it was a lot of fun.
Number 99, Eric Rutzik, kicker, crucial element of the team. Most memorable moment is when my field goal was returned like 20 yards by Hill Murray.